And we're back with the final set of the SPL for week 3. North America is about to conclude, Tolly. We should look at the standings first of all, I guess, to give you guys a little glimpse of how they look before we get to see this eUnited versus CLG.
A lot of spicy sets so far today. eUnited beating Splice 2-1 in the last game. CLG 2-0 against LG, keeping their undefeated streak alive.
Put Splice at the bottom with eUnited with a chance to move up. Even with Trifecta in the mid part of the table and Luminosity as well. We'll see how that goes as this one plays out. eUnited, though, trials and tribulations, they actually looked okay today, though.
They're looking pretty solid here, honestly. They definitely were feeling themselves in their second game, or their very last game, when they got such an early dominant lead against Splice. You know, the Amaterasu that went the Mystical Male, definitely feeling himself.
Well, eUnited, they're going to be using Scream in the jungle, and he's going to be the player to watch for you guys on the cam at home. Scream's going to be the one to focus on there. On that side of things, no real surprise to see fans voting for that.
He's definitely been always hyper-aggressive, looking for those little windows that he could poke into to make those plays happen. Season 5 is honestly a jungler meta, and Scream has been thriving. I
was going to say, I thought you were going to say jungler's wet dream, because that's exactly what it is. Like, you can't ask for anything better than having a meta that is kind of dictated by yourself, you know? Even if your lanes do bad, you can bring it back.
We even buffed Arachne just for Scream.
Just for Scream and for Weaken as well, you know? Yeah. It can't be just for one or the other. But that's Scream. We'll also get to see as well. Obviously, this is up against CLG, and CLG, they've been having a good time of things too. We just saw them with that matchup recently.
It's going to be Homiefe as well on the counter side of things. I think that CLG is going to be able to kind of do the same strategy of banning away the Arachne. They did it earlier against Luminosity. I think that they're probably going to execute the same idea.
I don't think so.
I think so. I don't think they like playing against the Arachne.
Is that what it is? Okay, I thought maybe it was just because it was Weaken and
Scream
PP.
likes it too.
But Scream hasn't played it that much recently, has he?
He has played it a little bit here and there.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it works out for them. But Homiefe, definitely an interesting one here. The Vermanas and the likes. We didn't see it in the last game. He was running the Mercury, which had a fantastic start of the game. He's coming off the back of that set. He should be riled up and raring to go here.
I absolutely would have to agree with you here. Homiefe really flexing his little guns in the SPL here, showing us what he's really about, playing a lot of casting gods here. He plays whatever he really wants between warriors or assassins.
Yeah, and that's kind of where jungle is right now. Not as many guardians in the jungle this season, not as tanky as it has been previously. It's warriors and assassins that have been the focal point. Not many mages either, actually. No Alquans.
Not yet necessarily, but I think that there still can be the case made for some Alquang jungle.
All right, well, let's find out what happens in P's and B's of game 1. Going to be definitely an interesting one. World champions versus, well, the new Glory Hunters is what I might nickname them as. They're the top of the standings right now and are the only undefeated team.
Yes, CLG has been looking really dominant here. Even in Europe, no team is undefeated there, as Dignitas, Rival, and Energy trading out sets with one of those top 3s.
Yeah, it's like a triangle of death.
Yes.
Where it's all rock, paper, scissors.
If there was a tiebreaker, that's exactly what they would have to do. We would just Rambo show it. We wouldn't even have more games.
Rochambeau it.
Rochambeau.
Okay. I'm down for seeing the EU players do some Rochambeau. Maybe we get them to do that in the Spring Fling. You can ask for that at home. Darji and Toth banned out so far. Janus is still on the table at the moment, and they're the 3 that I expect every time. Nemesis too, I suppose.
Nemesis has been an issue for some players. Even now and then, we'll see a Habwa ban. Sol has been very favored recently. So difficult to stop her from sieging your towers with that passive heat.
Sure, and she's also very, very safe is the biggest thing too. Like, she's so difficult to pin down and lock down. Lots of survivability in that kit with her sustain and the disapparate, of course. CLG with their final ban. What are you expecting, Tony?
Janus. I don't think that they're going to let that through, unless it's going to be the Arachne. And no, it's going to be the Camazotz allowing Janus to go through.
Sick of the Zots. I am too. I'm glad CLG did that. eUnited, though, now get a choice between having the Nemesis, the Janus.
Nuwa is a possibility. Venenu does prefer that goddess every now and then. It's going to be the Nemesis. going to Scream. Don't expect Benji to rock it.
I just kind of felt like with the jungle situation there, totally, that Nemesis was the best thing to pick straight away. With Darji not being available in Kamazot's, why don't you go with that?
So Scream also played a fantastic Susanoo against the first set there, against Splice necessarily. And I think that could have been another idea that they had to allow Nemesis to go through, pick up the Susanoo, and maybe put Venenu in a more comfortable position with Janus or Nua.
Athena and Ullr for CLGaming here. Athena specifically is something that has risen this season, more so than I expected. I expected it to be quite well because globals.
Yes.
But she was one of the only ones in the global column that really got looked at.
Well, it's going to be more globals on the eUnited side with Janus definitely showing a lot of limelight of mobility. Athena, yes, she has a global, but it's a one-time use. Janus not only has a global, but even more mobility with that threshold.
Fafnir again for PolarBearMike this game. CLGaming have an answer for that with Chulainn. fineokay is just loving this god right now. And against Benji, why not take it?
That's why I was kind of surprised that they banned away Kamazot's if they expected eUnited to like first pick the Nemesis or Janus for themselves. But maybe they were afraid of the Kamazot's first pick, so they know how to necessarily deal with the Nemesis and Janus, but not necessarily the Kama.
And now CLG going to start shutting down the solo lane a little bit more. They've already taken Chulainn away from Benji. They're going to take away the Hercules. What's the last one you're looking to take from Benji here?
Another solo laner away from Benji.
Yeah.
Maybe Osiris if he's going to be super aggressive. Haven't really seen too much out of him in the solo lane, but he can always go defensive-minded and go into the Sobek.
You could go for the Guardian options, yeah, that's true. Cerberus also available, which is something I'm not really seeing. I don't think I've seen Benji on that yet, but we'll see. Susanoo banned out by eUnited. They really clearly like that matchup and understand that Nemesis kind of struggles and Janus struggles against the Susanoo, so take that away. But Cerberus will be banned.
That's very true. But also against Susanoo, you have the possibility of going Artio for yourself. That cripple minefield is going to be able to shut him down from the Jetstream and the Stormcada disengage. Doesn't necessarily stop all the damage. Nua from eUnited banned away.
You called the Nua a little bit earlier on, it being potentially available. And Nua is great against Nemesis just because the ultimate. You can get away from the danger if you're in it.
It's more about the Clay Golem stun.
Sure.
So if you're using the Nua ultimate, Nemesis can drop that shield to absorb all that damage and heal up.
It was mostly to do with Nemesis ults, the Nua. The Nua immediately ults in response to go, no.
And then Nem shield.
And then Nem shield hits you, so you take some damage, but you're not going to take as much as getting chopped down at the back.
True. There's some time for your teammates to come in and bail you out of danger.
Double Hunter. Interesting. Ullr in the mid lane for CLG this game.
Yeah. So Ullr and Rama. It was actually Luminosity that did this against CLG, where they ran Ullr and the Jing Wei. Didn't have much success, but with Ram for Snoopy, I kind of like this idea. Hurriwind actually played a lot of Ullr in the beginning of Season 3, but he did it a lot with Homiefe playing the Ao Kuang, but it's going to be the Habwa. The mix of magical and physical damage is going to work really well for CLG. I love this comp.
Habwa jungle for Homiefe?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well then.
Or actually, no, it could still be
jungle?
It could be Ullr jungle. They did flex that every now and then.
That's interesting.
I'm going to say Habwa jungle.
Habwa jungle?
I'm going to say it.
Who do you think's going to win?
CLG. Habwa late game is disgustingly powerful.
I don't know. That con looks a little bit too jank for me. We'll see. Let's find out. Aggro and F-Dot are standing by to bring you Game 1 of eUnited versus CLG.
Habwa jungle, my favorite place to see this guy. We're getting it.
And Homie is the type of dude who can really execute it well. And I like it because eUnited, they've seen everything under the sun, right? They've been around for so long. They understand what's coming to them. But even though you've seen it before, it's different than playing against it consistently. This is the sort of composition that I think could really work out nicely for CLG.
Habwa's been very exciting throughout the course of this split, and watching him play in the mid lane, not my favorite, kind of susceptible to the ganks, but watching him in the jungle. This guy's a magical assassin, and this is where I like to see him played. Homiefe is the guy I want to see play it. I don't want to seem biased here, but I really do love this god.
No, it's going to be fun to watch because it sets up beautifully with the Athena as well. It gives it the protection that it needs, the setup that it needs, and you're not lacking CC. That can sometimes be a problem. A lot of traditional assassins will bring that little extra burst of CC that you need in your composition, but Ullr in the mid lane, that axe stun is usually enough to get you by in the CC department.
Well, this one's a really big match. eUnited off of their recent win, their first win, by the way, defending their World Championship title here against CLG. Now, CLG win, they don't exactly get the title, but they certainly get a lot of bragging rights. So let us know who you think is going to win in Mixer Chat, and maybe you'll be right.
They'd be the only team to go through the first 5 games of their season undefeated. No one in NA or Europe has done that. A couple 4-1 teams on the other side in Europe, Rival, Energy, and Dignitas all boast that record, but CLG looking to be the only team at 5-0.
Well, let's take a look. Game 1 of what is sure to be a fantastic set. eUnited taking on CLG, and this is pretty much exactly where I expected everyone to be. No surprises.
Yeah, homie in the jungle on the Hobwa, man. I mean, Ullr jungle, it could work, but I don't know about all of that. I definitely think this is the optimal position for all of these gods. And
we've seen Ullr jungle this year, almost frequently.
Yeah,
Actually, probably just once.
It can work. Again, I just not the biggest fan. Choppa always used to tell me that he should be playing Ullr jungle all the time back in the day, and I wasn't a huge fan then, and still not my preferred jungler, but Hobwa, I can get behind it, man.
I have been Team Hobwa jungle since Lionheart brought it out in season 0. When Lionheart was relevant. That's how long ago I was into Hobwa jungle.
And if Lionheart was doing well, you knew that it was some stuff back then. You know what I mean?
And my point is that kind of this guy has always been a threat in the jungle meta regardless, because his burst damage is really intense, and even though they recently changed the damage coming out from Water Spout, still a big surprise to get hit by that.
And it's still the CC that he needs, because even though the Water Spout does a little bit less damage, the Water Cannon is still doing more than enough basically by itself that you're not too worried about it. 67% CLG on the poll. Well, surprising, man, but people seem to be really high on the CLG squad, and I can't blame them.
I'm very excited to see that response, because that means that we have an intelligent audience. I mean, if you go off of what you've been watching, no disrespect to eUnited, if you go off what you've been watching, CLG is the team to beat. They're the only undefeated team so far, right? I mean, I think that if you've been watching the Pro League, that's kind of what you expect.
I knew they were intelligent whenever we did a poll, and they all agreed that Zeus should get his stun back.
You know, I heard you on that cast, and I vehemently disagree.
Do you really?
Yeah, really hard, actually.
Let me know. Let me let you know that I think you're wrong. Chat thinks you're wrong.
Nope.
And you're just objectively wrong. Actually.
No, I thought chat really showed their intelligence when they answered the poll that it was a dragon and not an otter on the grass.
Completely agree. That was just a ridiculous notion that was an otter. Like, what was Taco thinking?
I certainly don't know. Left side though, eUnited are thinking aggression. Not a surprise here coming out from these guys. Knockup is going to put Scream into harm's way, but he's able to dash out of there as we travel over the mid lane. But here again, PolarBearMike finds a stun. Benji on the wrong side. fineokay here.
fineokay, a little bit behind in XP, but still doing just fine. I mean, he's got that extra set of abilities whenever he transforms, so it's not like he doesn't have access to a third ability. Plus, most Chulainn players won't level. At level 3 will put a second point into the 1 instead of leveling their 2, so he's not down an extra ability like, say, a Bellona would be, who really wants access to all 3 of those skills as early as possible because of the extra benefits that they can provide.
PandaCat here, just trying to deal with what Jigz is going to be repeatedly driving in there. Dash, 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 dash every time. Jigz made a name for himself originally for being mechanically sound, but you and I were talking about this on air the other day. Everybody's kind of there. Now Jigz sets himself apart from the crowd by being, I think, his decision-making. We look at some supports and say this guy's aggressive. We look at other supports and say this guy's passive or defensive. I look at Jigz and I never know how to paint him, and that's part of his arsenal.
He definitely has a very unique support style. I don't think that he plays very similarly to a lot of other NA supports in particular. PBM is actually probably one that's a little bit closer to Jigz' play style than some others, but PBM is still more of the Jeff Hinla train of thought. I feel like that's, if we had the coaching trees like some professional sports do, Jeff Hinla's support tree would be very, it would have many roots because it has plenty of different support players in the Pro League that have kind of emulated him and followed his sort of play style of being excessively selfless. To say that he is messing himself up on purpose to make sure that everyone else on his team is nice and comfortable. Jigz is kind of the other end of that spectrum where Jigz knows that he can make game-changing plays out of the support role, and he shouldn't have to put himself way farther behind than other supports will in order to put himself there. That's not to say that he's a selfish player entirely, but he is a little bit more selfish with his farm. What is this even talking about, chat?
I mean,
and
clearly,
how dare you?
Clearly, I'm the GOAT. That's what this is talking about. The fact that
Chat, we agreed on this. We're already like
I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. That's the lesson to take home. I loved where you were going, though. Sorry to actually bring us back to conversation. I like talking about Smite. I love where you were going with that, and I kind of like to, well, Hurriwind doesn't like to be here. The dash one, and ooh, the unstable misses. That's not going to be a first blood until Homie shows up and turns it around. The ultimate is going to deal a lot of damage, and the water hands. Homie backs on top of the opposition. What looked like a first blood for eUnited turns around. And CLG pick up 2 for the Waterman.
As soon as Ven misses that unstable vortex, I could almost hear the uh-oh. And then Homie blinks in and that uh-oh turns into, oh, that sucks. What should have been first blood for eUnited turns out to be 2 kills the way of CLG with no return for eUnited. Look, even if both end up dying in that situation and Hurriwind dies for first blood, it's not that bad for eUnited, but man, to lose the first blood bounty and then have that go over to a Habwa jungle, and then he kills Venenu as well because he was out of mana and couldn't portal away. Rough, a rough turn of events.
That is, I mean, Habwa is high on the list of characters you don't want to give that to. I mean, you're talking about like the Freyas of the world, right? Like, this is not a good look for eUnited to be on the other end of this. Benji jumps on top of Homiefe, who has help from the Athena. Goomba stomp on top. Benji's in trouble. Water hands won't finish it, but Jigz has the reach, gets Benji and puts him in a casket. Lovely stuff from CLG.
And that's exactly what I was talking about during the picks and bans phase, where sometimes Habwa needs a little bit of extra protection, and Jigz provides it there.
The damage too. Scream trying to turn this one around. Ult Homiefe, who's going to be out of the picture. eUnited can't respond.
Just a little bit of lack of patience there. Now PBM gets baited because of that, has to stun out Hurriwind, who takes a decent chunk from Ven's unstable vortex, but everyone else on CLG a little bit too low on resources for Homiefe. His health and mana, Fine was a little bit low as well, so PBM's able to escape because of it, but it was awfully close. And Scream there just a little bit too over-aggressive, didn't have the extra damage. Probably was just trying to force ult for ult in that situation, but Homie didn't have the ult to trade away. So it just ends up getting taunted, and a nice play by Jigz.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm I don't think I fault Scream for that since they didn't lose anything, right? Nemesis ult on cooldown, sure, but go for that, right? Go for it. If you don't wind up with a kill, oh well, right? Not too big of a deal. Venenu. This has been a habit of his that I'm not a fan of. He spends a little bit too much time in lane with a little bit too little mana.
It's so easy to do, too, because, you know, I just need 200 more gold to finish my item, and then I'll have a big power spike, but you end up being so much more vulnerable on the map. You're giving up positioning because of your inability to rotate, and even just backing and buying wards to heal up at the same time. Heal up your mana, heal up your health pool, and grab an extra ward, then head back. As long as you time that well enough, you shouldn't really give up too much.
PandaCat taunted into the damage from Athena, who brings it early. No damage boots, the Traveler's boots here, but still, Shield Wall is going to be able to poke out the Hunter at these early levels, so you know, I like Jigz. That's, again, we saw Jigz be very defensive there before, then very aggressive here in that lane. That's what I was talking about when I referenced that Jigz kind of plays both sides of the coin, and that's why he's one of my favorite supports to watch.
Oh, Benji in trouble, but Homie still trying to get there in time. He's got the blink to get under tower, but he's going to let Jigz tank it up instead. No, wait for the wave. Benji has his ultimate still available, though, so got to be wary of that.
You have the information from the middle lane. You have all the time in the world for this kill. No reason to rush it. Ultimate from Homiefe going to miss, but the water cannon will be the follow-up. And finally, eUnited show up.
Yeah, Thursdays and time came through, but just not in time. Plenty of time to set up for that. Ven has to use the purification beads, but Homie is right there with the blink forward. He grabs Venenu, and Scream can't find Homie.
And the damage out of this early Habwa is incredible. Scream not going to die here. able to turn things around a little bit, cut down fineokay and Jigz. But Hurriwind, the mid lane hunter, is here with those long-range abilities. Not only is he going to devastate this tower, but he's also going to cause problems. Snoopy with the one-on-one. PandaCat has the upper hand, and he takes care of Snoopy in the 1v1.
And this is what made eUnited so dangerous during their World Championship run, was that even if you got PandaCat down, Benji was doing something on the other side of the map. In this situation, Benji and in the mid lane, Venenu, they're struggling right now. A little bit behind their opposition. Not PandaCat, man. He takes the 1v1 exactly when eUnited needs a boost. They needed a kill. And grabbing the one lane that wasn't already behind to get a little bit of a lead like that, critical.
And that's PandaCat every step of the way. We spent time talking about Jigz' playstyle. PandaCat has been aggressive since he came into the league. That was the thing that opened my eyes to this player at first, was he was going up against the biggest names in Smite as a rookie and blinking on them with Artemis. I don't care if you're Zapman. I don't care if you're Barracuda. You're going to feel it.
Fine, and a little bit of trouble on this right side, but no Nemesis ult means that he's going to be A-okay. He's finished off that Gladiator shield, and interestingly enough, Benji actually decides to match him. Not something we always see Bellonas go for, but this tells me that he's just trying to match item for item what fineokay has gone for.
And that'll help him out a little bit in the sustain department. Hurriwind gonna jump away, has the help of Athena. A little bit after the fact, but better safe than sorry, especially since Jigz, Snoopy loses one duel, but Snoopy can absolutely hold lane by himself.
A little bit of over-investment there into Hurriwind, actually, when you consider that was two ultimates, both Scream and Venenu's, and no beats even used by Hurriwind. Was able to dodge out that unstable vortex. Scream must have used the dashes to start off that fight and wasn't able to chase after Hurriwind, who was probably out of position, but didn't get punished.
Oh, Benji's in trouble. PandaCat picks up another kill. Not a solo this time around. Has the help of the support, but nothing over here in the solo lane. Really thought Homiefe was going to get active.
Man, it's getting spoopy for Snoopy right now because he is so far behind in this lane at this point. I mean, a fully stacked Devourer's Gauntlets. He's only got 28 on his side. And so PandaCat is just hitting harder and healing for more with every single auto.
PolarBearMike missed the hammer and then just kind of stood there. He's like, all right, I missed the thing that I need to do to get this kill.
Oh, wait, I think I can do a pretty good impression of comms right there. Actually, I'll have to do it in a minute because PandaCat aggressed on by Jigz. Doesn't miss that hammer, though, and Jigz chain stunned by PandaCat. Still able to escape. Okay, right. Here, I'm not 100%, but this is at least 95% accurate as to what happened right there. PBM walks in a lane, Hurriwind not looking at him. He throws the hammer, whiffs by a mile. Mike stands there. I'm trolling! And then moves on.
That's a very good PolarBearMike impression, by
Thank
the way.
you. I've been working on it behind the scenes.
It sounds really good. You want to hear my PandaCat impression?
I actually do, yes.
Hi, I'm PandaCat.
No, I don't think he ever said that. I've heard him say that to me. But did he say that to you? Is that what he sounded like?
Yeah, he said, hi, I'm PandaCat.
My PandaCat impression would be more along the lines of him making like airplane noises.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So, trouble in the mid lane as Hurriwind gets obliterated by the damage from the Nemesis. PolarBearMike with the kill secure. The kill confirm. Don't you dare call that one a steal.
Oh, wait, can I do another impression right here?
Oh, please don't.
Mike sees it. Hurriwind's about to get away. Throws the hammer. I guess I'll just get it because you idiots couldn't.
I think you spent too much time with Mike there.
You're absolutely correct in that factor, yes.
But a little bit behind the PandaCat joke we were telling. Were we in a listen-in? I think we were in a listen-in, or maybe we were just listening over the shoulder, where PandaCat, there's a team fight. It's a LAN game. PandaCat's Jingwei and going, whee! As he uses his passive to rejoin the team fight.
True story.
Right now, eUnited, while they're weeing all the way home here, Gold Fury going to go the way of the defending world champs. That will even the game up. CLGaming able to sneak a little past that earlier on, and eUnited screams this one through.
But Pyromancer pulled on the other side here by CLG. This is going to take a little bit to go down because Homie's got some good damage, but not quite enough to burst this very quickly, but it looks like no one from eUnited is going to be able to sniff it out in time. So objective for objective, but any team would rather have the Gold Fury at this stage of the game than the Pyromancer. The Pyromancer just acts as the kind of consolation prize for CLG in this situation. But you know what? I got to say, I'm impressed with eUnited's mental fortitude here. Normally, that wouldn't be a question of a World Championship team. But as you said earlier today on the desk, PBM, when assessing how well they have done mentally in these games, he said he wasn't really pleased with the attitudes in practice and in the games and that kind of stuff. And I honestly believe this week 1 or week 2, and eUnited drops first blood in mid and then gets double killed by Habwa jungle.
Yeah.
They probably check out mentally, and we see a frustrated team that doesn't have a chance to come back. In this one, they've done a great job since then. It's 3-3 in the kill department since that double kill to start off in mid lane. Objectives have been solid. The rotations have been good as well. And this team clearly still focused up, and that's an important thing to see from this team that we hadn't seen so far here in Season 5.
Yeah, and I think watching the way eUnited came into this season, I don't think it's a testament to them having poor attitudes or taking things lightly. I think it's just that this is a team that needs to be in the middle of the grind to really to really just feel it, right? You sort of get swept up in that huge amount of work that the split is. And watching eUnited, players like Benji, players like Screammmmm, players like PBM, I think they thrive in a work-filled environment. And so week number 1, you're kind of coming off a vacation. You still got sand in your shoes. Here in week 3, this is the team snapping back to reality and like really, really feeling comfortable.
And who could blame them for playing poorly with sand in their shoes? I mean, that is just the worst. My God. It's uncomfortable doing everything.
Yeah.
I literally forced Hindu to take his headset off last time we cast together, and you almost doing it there made me realize that I probably need to change some things, because to have back-to-back days where my co-caster decides they would rather leave than cast with me says that I'm probably doing something wrong.
I do enjoy all of the time we spend together, Ryan. Sometimes you just make me question my decisions. 8 kills in total as we kind of breezed past the early game, and you can thank Homiefe for that. Homiefe kind of really just murdered this early game, but then he stopped. He got 4 kills real quick, got another one that was an assist, but then gave eUnited the chance to really come back. Now, that's not on Homiefe. That's a team sort of decision or just the way the game was going. But, I mean, what caused CLGaming to slow down is my question.
This pressure on the left-hand side from PandaCat, that solo kill onto Snoopy, then the gank from PolarBearMike that results in another kill onto Snoopy. PandaCat was getting a little bit too comfortable over there. So instead of using that Athena ultimate to make sure that Homiefe can play aggressively on the right side or in the mid, Jigz needs it to make sure that Snoopy's safe on the left-hand side. And that's where I'm talking about where, 2 lanes can be behind, but if you get one lane that's really, they can start making plays, it forces the enemy team to consider at least changing their game plan. Now, if it was a 3,000 gold lead in mid and right, and PandaCat's killing on the left, you could probably just say, whatever, I don't care. We'll just win in 2 lanes and deal with the one when we have to. But it was early enough in the game. The lead was still not far enough along to where CLG could just say, we're good. Well, we can just continue our game plan. They needed to adjust because of the way PandaCat was playing.
And that changed the entire mentality for CLGaming. Look at the itemization from Homiefe. I'm not a huge fan of the Warlock staff this late in the game or in the jungle, but this is basically CLG saying, all right, we won the early game, and now the mid game isn't really going our way, so let's just stop. It's study time. Head down in the books, just look for the farm. You're not going to see Homiefe looking for a gank anytime soon. He's going to be looking to stack up, and then later we'll see CLGaming strike again.
I got to say, I'm in complete agreement with you, though, on the Warlock staff third, in the jungle specifically. Look, Warlock staff third and mid, not my favorite, but I can stomach it. It makes sense that you're willing to trade off a longer time of stacking in order to make sure that you're safe come the late game. It's just going to take so long to get this stacked in the jungle. You're only clearing 3 minions at a time. So, I mean, normal instead of your normal 6. It's just going to take a little bit too long for my liking.
Yeah, he's going to stick here in the lanes a little bit as well. Like I said, I mean, I dislike this less because Scream just stuck in the middle of nowhere. 3 players here. I don't know if he can get out of here. Nice knockup from fineokay, but here comes Homiefe, who's got a knockup of his own. Scream still in trouble. The Celtic Warrior on the chase. Finally, they decide to turn around and look towards Benji, who's joined the fray, but nobody really cares about this Bellona.
So not only is the Warlock staff third option very slow in HP and not that high in damage either, but you also have to factor in that that's normally your pen slot. Look at what Scream has picked up in his third item slot. And on Chulainn, that gives him magical protection. If Homie has pen in that situation, I think he kills Scream.
Probably.
But that little bit of extra magical prot, because Homiefe was sitting on the penetration from the Enchanted Spear, plus the pen from his boots, just not quite enough. If that's a Spear of Desolation, if that's an Obsidian Shard, a Divine Ruin, whatever sort of pen option you want to go for, Spear of the Magus even, I'm pretty sure he finds that kill. So again, it's you kind of give up this mid-game for the later stages if you're going for this item slot.
And so with that in mind, I like it in context, right? Understanding that they're giving it up basically to stack this. But what that means for eUnited, and which they just did, is you hit, this is why when you watch top-end players stream, they hit tab more than you. Because this guy's, eUnited have to look at what Homiefe is building and say, okay, they're planning to stall till late game. We need to hit the gas and punish this build choice, because this will be fruitful in the late game. But if you hit him now, that's good.
And Benji's doing it too. Look, he has no dedicated magical defense in this build. Instead, he just goes for Stone of Gaia, realizes that just the base HP is going to get him by until this a pen option is finished, until Homie just has more power in general. There's just not a lot of power right now coming out of that Warlock staff third item. By this point, Benji's tanky enough without any magical defense, so it allows him to be that much harder to deal with for the double ADCs. It allows him to get the more impactful item right now in the hide of the Nemean Lion, and just lets him delay that magical defense until later.
So go hard. Right now it's an even game. Force the Gold's Fury fight, because you know you can punish this Habwa right now, and he's not going to be as punishing as later on when he finishes this penetration item. Whatever this item is, it's going to help him, because it's going to bring that pen that you were asking for earlier. So if you're able to do the damage now, this is where Counter Logic Gaming is most susceptible to the attack.
Benji takes so little damage from Hurriwind right now. In fact, returning a little bit of damage, and exactly what you were asking for, Tom. Straight to the Gold Fury for eUnited.
Yeah, fight me, please. In comes Jigz, taking that advantage, saying yes, eUnited take the Gold Fury, and looking for the fight afterwards. Hurriwind cut down to about half HP, but the target is Snoopy now. Through the portals on Homiefe, however, here comes the mid lane with a little bit of help. There goes Scream, taking care of Homiefe. It's like they drew it up.
Perfect shot from Venenu as well. He'll find Jigz. Benji will finish off Snoopy on this left-hand side. eUnited now ahead in kills. Nice ultimate there from fineokay. Saves Hurriwind's life and is making life difficult for PolarBearMike, but still not going to be enough to find the kill, I don't think. eUnited, exactly as you asked for, though, just understanding power spikes, knowing that they are in a stronger spot for this exact snapshot in time, and so let's force a fight at this time.
It's so important to be able to identify these windows, because you can stall the game out to late game, and you can have a 30,000 gold lead, and if the game reaches 26, 30 minutes, everybody's all even. It's a brand new game. It's a brand new system. So eUnited understanding that when you got the chance, you got to strike hard. Counter Logic Gaming's jungler does finish his penetration item, Spear of Deza. Nice item for Habwa. fineokay here by himself. Will be joined by Jigz, but it's still a 4-on-2. Hurriwind in the back, trying to make this a 4-on-3, but he can't get there in time. Deletes PandaCat on the back end after he loses his teammate.
Panda had both his relics available, just a little slow on him, actually. Beads right as he died in that situation, but got to be a little bit quicker. But the ward coverage from CLG, despite falling behind and losing that last team fight, their ward coverage ends up paying off, because Hurriwind's allowed to come all the way around the back and find that flank and surprise PandaCat for the kill.
Yeah, that's really what I mean, you know, you died. That's not a good thing, but I don't think there was time to react. PandaCat just, he got snooped. Talk poop, get snooped.
No, Hurriwind's playing the Ullr. Snoopy's playing the Ram.
Actually, yeah, you know what? Normally when you use that tone of voice, you're like getting me with the best is on Dignitas joke, but no.
No, I don't like that joke. I like variations of that joke, but I will never do one for the best.
I'm almost, we got to watch the VODs. I'm almost positive you hit me with it last week.
I definitely did not.
I don't know about that one. Snoopy's going to get hit by this one. PolarBearMike times it so that Snoopy actually going to come down and get hit by the nonsense. He knows there's nowhere out. Number 8 for eUnited.
Snoopy, just rough game so far for him. 0-4. Farm is pretty solid, but Season 5 allows you to just pick up a couple waves in the later stages and catch up in XP very, very quickly, and I suspect that's what we've seen for Snoopy here, because PandaCat has had his way with this lane for the majority of the game now.
Snoopy, Titan's Bane. PandaCat, Executioner.
It's just that eUnited's stacking more physical defense because of the double hunters on CLG. No, there's the Nemean Lion there for Benji, but you know that he's going to be building into even more physical defense as the game goes on. Screammmmm building in a physical defense. The Midgardian mail already done for PolarBearMike as well. There's going to be tons and tons and tons of FizzD on the other team. And Titan's Bane's one of those things where it feels really bad to be hitting a tank for 60 in auto and say to yourself, man, I wish I had Titan's Bane right now. It's almost better to buy it preemptively so you have it when you need it. It's a lot like anti-heal in that regard.
Right now, the item's certainly getting the mileage from it. It's not as effective as it used to be. It basically gets more powerful as the tankier your target is, and, well, that's exactly what they're building against, like you mentioned.
That's the thing, though, is that it may not be as good as it used to be against the squishies, but it's better than it's ever been against these tanks.
Exactly.
So that's why I think double hunter compositions are still a possibility because of that. You know, you can't just stack defense like you used to be able to. Now Titan's Bane, man, you can make these tanks pop if you just go a dedicated pen build.
24 minutes just about in this game. First of what I predict to be a 3-game set. Team's really, really close up. eUnited in the driver's seat right now, up about 3,000 gold. Starting the Fire Giant. fineokay is here. He will be targeted by the Nemesis. Has Jigz along for the ride. eUnited not going to leash. eUnited going to confirm the kill on the Fire Giant. fineokay and his team looking for the fight. Benji in some trouble on the back end, getting pushed out by the Chulainn. That's it. Walk away. Retreat. eUnited successful.
Benji actually going to teleport to the left-hand side, but fineokay stops it, but Snoopy had already backed up. I love the idea, but just on 2 different pages, fineokay going to have that ultimate back sooner rather than later. It does have the 10% CDR from the Gladiator shield, but I like the idea, like I mentioned.
And also, they're not going to fight anytime soon. A lot of times we see the Fire Giant go and the teams are allowed to clear up the towers without any interference. So fineokay blows that going, look, we're not going to defend a tier 1 tower anytime soon. I'm good.
Now, on the other side of the double hunters for Counterlogic Gaming, you expect the enemy team to build the physical defense. So that's why you draft the Habwa in the jungle. And Homie started off 4-0 and has done nothing since then. As we talked about, the build slowed him down, and the general mentality of CLG slowed him down. And this, I think, was the downfall of this roster last year under that Space Station banner, is that sometimes Jigz and Homie on that Space Station squad, don't know if it was them or Anister or Zatman, whoever was making those calls, but it doesn't surprise me to see this again, where they become a little bit too reactive. It's not passive, it's reactive. They're waiting for the enemy team to put themselves in incorrect spots, and no one punishes those mistakes better than them. That's how they've made their living so far. But the game has evolved, and teams are getting better, and now the good teams, Rival, Energy, Dignitas, they exert pressure. They force you to make mistakes. They don't wait for you to make mistakes. And I feel like that's kind of the mentality that CLG fell into here. With PandaCat getting a lead, Snoopy falling behind, it put CLG on the back foot, and now they're just playing reactive. Homie's waiting for a mistake, when I'd like to see CLG just be the initiators, be the big burst of damage that you need right off the bat, because eUnited, they're world champions. They're not going to make silly mistakes.
The idea that Counterlogic Gaming, we noted that they slowed down, they downshifted, bought the Warlock staff on a Homiefe. If this is a different character, I think I'm okay with the decision. But so much of Habwa's power comes in that mid-game. I mean, he feels unbeatable. When you get attacked, in your own games, you could actually translate this because it feels the same way to the pros. When you get attacked mid-game by a 5-0 Habwa who's just crushing and cruising, you feel like there's no way to win. Pumping the brakes at that point in time with this composition, I almost feel like it's using the pick incorrectly.
I just like to see these players play aggressive, because Homie plays so well when he's got a big lead and is allowed to play aggressive. And this is one of those situations where instead of just continuing to follow that and can keep it going, they decide to slow it down, whether it's the build or the mentality or a combination of both. I just really feel like CLG let off the gas and said, we can wait until late game. We've got double hunter Habwa. And don't get me wrong.
That will work.
It could absolutely work. But why open that door? Why give that the possibility? Homie was 4-0. Let him ride. Let the dice roll. Yeah, Snoopy's getting crushed on the left-hand side. It happens. Just don't gank that lane. Continue to kill mid. Ven was already very far behind. If his Warlock staff makes him too tanky, then I think you can even head over to the right with the Athena ult. You can go left with the Athena ult, even despite PandaCat being ahead. I just think that This is something that we've seen Jigz and Homiefe specifically fall into previously, and I don't think they need to do so.
Well, hopefully CLGaming can turn it around for them and their fans. Very, very close to about 6 items here. You can see fineokay just traded in his blessing to purchase a 6th. And likely going to be the same thing for a number of Homiefe doing the same thing. So these players are close to evening the score here as far as itemization is concerned.
You know what? It just kind of reminds me of, bear with me as I make a boxing analogy here that is probably going to lose a large majority of our audience. CLG plays a lot like Floyd Mayweather, where it's just defensive, counterpunch. I'm just going to technically beat you up and find a lot of victories. And they do find a lot of victories.
Oh,
Venenu.
That's the wrong choice.
Yeah, okay.
That's just the wrong choice.
Trolling a little bit too hard there on the right-hand side. But at the lower levels, and specifically the lower weight classes, not a lower level, but a lower weight class, you can do that. You can be the defensive guy. But eUnited is Mike Tyson. You can play defense all you want, and they're just going to crush you into the mat unless you get on the offensive yourself.
No chance to dodge around here, like your Mayweather analogy. Because eUnited come through like a Mack truck right now. CLGaming have actually the positioning that they'd like here around the Fire Giant. eUnited are going to fight into this, which is not the best situation. But Jigz is getting cut down by that ultimate. Scream going to find himself on the back line as Jigz is out of there. Beautiful play by fineokay to knock plenty of players up, but Benji still chasing the kill, takes care of Jigz. Scream is going to, but Homie gets one. That's a 2-for-1 so far. Nice to see Homiefe join the conversation here, taking care of Benji, which is a big, big deal. Double knockup.
Double knockup, but it was on the other side of the wall, so we couldn't ult off of it. That's the combo, is the knockup straight into the ult. And Homie put himself in an awkward spot. Look, that engagement by Jigz, picture perfect. If you've got a long-range mage. If Hurriwind is Thoth or Ra, we're all raving about a triple taunt.
But doesn't the Hail of Arrows and everything count?
It's not the same. I mean, Hail of Arrows, 450 damage, sick. Raw Snipe, 900, you know? Snoopy goes up into the sky right away, but that's not enough damage to bring down someone who is beads and is still fairly healthy. You need that instant burst right off the bat. Great initiation by Jigz, but then both solo laners swap. They go across the enemy lines and try and pick up kills. Jigz ends up falling to the pressure from Benji in the middle of 3 members, the Homie, Hurriwind, and Snoopy, all on top of him. Benji still finds that kill before he dies, whereas fineokay on the other end was dealing with 4 and didn't end up finding any kills on the opposite side. So very similar ideas out of the engagement, but the long-range damage, the extra burst that Scream provided, stripping away the protections from Jigz.
That was big.
And forcing him back exactly opens the door for Benji to finish it off.
And watching CLGaming there, it was, you know, like you said, I mean, things didn't go wrong for CLGaming until they went right for eUnited. I actually loved fineokay and Homiefe's positioning. I thought that was kind of how you play that team fight, but not going to come up heads here for CLG. eUnited, however, up about 17,000 gold and 3 kills to CLG, 10-7. And a fantastic game so far, a half hour in, and these teams are banging heads like rams. These guys are going back and forth, and it's been a pleasure to watch.
And the way Scream played that team fight is really perfect because the build that he's gone for doesn't lend itself to the blink Nemesis ult onto the Hunter and just two-shot him.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It really is about killing the Athena initiation, and that's the thing about Athena is that she requires a very specific playstyle around her. You have to beads her taunt and kill her very quickly. That's the best way to play around it. You either do that or you kill the people that step up to follow up off that Athena taunt. What did eUnited do there? Everyone beads, Nemo on top of the Athena, dump everything. Let Benji finish it off. The picture perfect.
I didn't even take note of Scream's build here, going kind of that solo lane build, right? With a little bit of Heartseeker in there. I want to see him swap out the Heartseeker a little bit later because of the lack of power, and this is the late game. Either go Stone-Cutting Sword or maybe even something tanky, whatever. But right now, no complaints, 3-1-3. Certainly wrecking things as is. Number 2 on his team for player damage. Jigz gets stunned out. eUnited trying to figure out the hole. And it's not going to be here on the left.
The player damage charts that you just mentioned, I just took a look at them, and man, that is really, really low. For 32 minutes in, to have 2 players be above 13,000 player damage, and that's it.
Yeah.
This has been a very, very calculated game, and sometimes we say that as a, just a nice way to say slow and boring. Now, I wouldn't describe it that way, but this is kind of the pace that CLG seemed to want to take this game at, and now's the chance.
Whoa, right there. eUnited going to hit the gas and certainly turn that one around. Tempo going all the way up as eUnited trying to play Allegreno on the back line. Benji going to be knocked up, controlled by CounterLogic Gaming, but the rest of eUnited are looking at the Firebird, exactly what they need to do. Scream kind of picks up Snoopy haphazardly there, and eUnited, who were just looking to zone and take care of Phoenix, actually take care of the Hunter.
Mid lane Phoenix now could be the call because PolarBearMike still in that draconic form. Benji all alone, doesn't have an ultimate, but PBM's going to jump in to try and support. Homie very, very low, and PandaCat going to slice him up with the EI Jutsu. Hurriwind grabs one in response, but that might be it for CLG. That might be 8 kills and the only 8 kills they'll get.
Oh, that's absolutely game. Jigz can't defend this by his lonesome, and eUnited put up a fight, and they take it as well. Jigz getting trolled there by Ven in the fountain. But 33 minutes, a calculated game. All the damage seemed to matter for these teams.
Yeah, and it was just, again, I hate to harp on it this much, but I just do not like CLG letting their foot off the gas.
I agree.
When their Hobblot jungle's 4-0. There's just, I just don't think that's the play. Go over and try and gank PandaCat early on. I mean, Hunters, these days, if that's season 4 and your Hunter gets soloed and then dies again right away, that enemy Hunter's like level 46 and you're still sitting at level 16 and you just can't kill them. Not these days. PandaCat still only had a 2-level lead. Killable, especially for a Hobblot.
Scream looked clean, but the other 4 guys certainly deserve a little bit of a nod. We'll leave it to you. Mixer chat, let us know who MVP is for this match, the first of what I hope is 3, might be 2 the way eUnited's playing, but like I said, these teams, I mean, I'm down to cast the best of 7. How you feeling?
Yeah, all right. And what time is it? Oh, it's still early. Yeah, let's do it.
How about you, Hindu?
No. That's all I need to say on that one. No.
Just no.
Not down for a best of 7 today. Thank you very much. We'll just keep it to best of 3. That was an interesting tale, though. CLG got off to a great start. Totally what went wrong.
Homiefe on the Hobblot did a great job there, just getting a great momentum for his team. But then Snoopy struggled on the ROM. He got soloed by PandaCats. Hachiman, it's just never a good look when your Hunter is getting soloed and then dying almost immediately after. All of the pacing and momentum that Homiefe built up for him and his team just got shut down. Also, Hurriwind got dove into that tier 1 mid tower. It was just a trickle-down effect where eUnited kept getting more and more objectives afterwards.
And I think that was the biggest problem is that, yeah, Homiefe went off in the early game, but there was no support for the dual lane, and that's where eUnited found their window to get back in that game, was the dual lane combination.
And also, Venenu late game played very well despite kind of showing off a little bit. I would say, being a little trolly.
Nearly made a bit of a mistake there. To be fair, they nearly lost the fight the Fire Giant straight after because he used his space and time to get away from that terrible axe.
The last ultimate, though, I think clipped Snoopy during the left side Phoenix siege, which really allowed them to get that Phoenix almost for free. It was very difficult to siege into a Hobblot. Does so much burst damage, but they found a way to get in there with fineokay playing the Chulainn. He goes in and initiates. Jigz stays in the backline, and then Homiefe is like in that weird in-between. It's like, what do I kind of do here late game?
Well, we were talking about the dual lane for eUnited, and PandaCat did get MVP. Good job in Mixer Chat there. He was the one who managed to solo Snoopy and then allow his team a window to get back into this game.
It's what you got to do. Look for those plays. If you have the advantage in the dual lane, the solo lane, abuse it. That's exactly what this Ukrainian Hunter did.
Yeah, that's what I look at him as well. Actually, this is the first kill where she gets on to Snoopy, the all-in play. And there's not much Rama can really do there after the roll. If you stand still, Toli, to try and get the ultimate off, I'm pretty sure he would die anyway.
Couldn't really do anything afterwards there. Great use of the Heavenly Banner and great positioning too. He was fighting under the Heavenly Banner the whole time, gaining that double effect of the attack speed.
Oh, that's, I guess, a good point. The Coerce plus the Banner combination is actually really, really strong for that one. So that's it for game 1, but it's still game 2. CLG got off to a great start. Can they do better in game 2 is the question. Do they change their picks and bans in any way?
I think that eUnited definitely stay with the same idea and mindset that they had. First pick Nemesis worked out well for them. I'm still shocked that Janus wasn't picked by CLG, giving it to Venenu. It's just annoying to deal with portals and threshold. The mobility that it provides for eUnited in that game allowed them to reposition themselves and be aggressive at the same time.
Well, let's go.